Hello, I'm MC Toon, and it's Tuesday night. And I've got a debate later. And this is a call-in show. So if you want to talk to me, if you're a flurf, if you're not a flurf, if you want to talk about something even other than flurfs, you can call in. I'll put the link in the live chat here in a little bit. And I'll also put it on my Discord server. I challenged, so there's a guy on my my Conspiracy Tunes channel that was unhappy with my video offering to pay flat earthers $10,000 to take a flight that they say doesn't exist. So if you don't know, head over to Conspiracy Tunes channel there, and the deal is they say that the Southern Hemisphere flights don't exist, the ones between Australia and South Africa, Australia and the southern part of South America, and between South America below the equator, south of the equator, and Africa south of the equator. They say those flights don't even exist. The reason why is because they would have to be so long on flat Earth, and you'd know the difference. They'd be drastically different routes, and they'd be much longer times. Like Sydney to Johannesburg takes around 11 to 13 hours on the globe, and in reality, and on flat Earth, it would have to take 2.5 times that, both in distance and time. They have no explanation for this, so they just hand wave reject that it even exists. So I said, hey, let's do it. You and me, let's get on a plane and we'll fly it together. And I was not met with open arms. Would you believe that? Flat Earthers didn't accept. They did not line up to see who could be first. And I specifically issued it to just 5 of the main Papa Flurfs. I sent them an email even. Nobody replied yet. I'm sure they're working on it. I'm sure they are. So the on that could somebody drop that link into that video in the description or in the video chat here? I'd love that. The pinned comment, I've gone through a lot of pinned comments on there, but the pinned comment is from Val Leune, and he made a bunch of claims, and he said he's got proof of stuff. Well, you know how that goes with flurfs. No proof was forthcoming, so I said, well, send it to me. So he actually emailed it to me, and he also posted it in the comments. And so I'm going to go over that quick while I'm waiting for him. I sent him the link to come on and present his proof live. And he seemed willing in the comments. Maybe. Don't know. So, before. I don't want to forget. I have new glasses. See, there's basically no frames here. Old glasses? New glasses. Tell me what you think. I'll do a poll. So it's not just, so the challenge also is that they can't fly north of the equator. They can't stop off for refueling like in Dubai or something, and they can't go faster than a certain ground speed, because those are the things they claim, and if they break any of those, they win. So, all right, I got to do the poll here. Which glasses? All right. I'm going to put them on. My wife looked at me. It took a little bit of time before she responded. She's like, oh, they're different. She didn't know I had them. I had just put them on and looked at her, and she's like, oh. All right, there it is. There goes. This old glasses make you look smart. New glasses make you look cool, says Steve6464. Very nice. Thank you for that. Anyway, there's a poll. You can vote. You can vote, and we'll see. But I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for Val Lim. But you don't need to wait to see the derp that he was spouting. So here it is. Here's all right, that's Google Maps. So here it is. All right. This is the video right there. That's I think that's an ad. Yeah. All right. Valium says, get to the point. Do you want somebody to prove it or not? Because you got beat with nothing but reference book material and a mathematic proof. And where was this? Is his opening salvo, as far as I know. Don't got the guts, obviously, to risk that 10K for real. Try me. I dare you. Well, I don't think he quite understood the challenge, but I'm happy to do it. But I told him all about my sextant challenge. I got the guts. Go ahead with all your mathiness there, buddy. Anyway, it's too much. It's 100 and some comments on here, but I like this. You don't got seriously, mate, says Chris Dolan. Give up now. You're only going to make a fool of yourself. I said, Chris, don't discourage him. We want to see him make a fool of himself. Speaking of him making a fool of himself, he's still not here. So anyway, I'm going to scroll down. He's a lot of bluster here. People are saying, show your proof, show the formula. You claim you have one. All right, I'm going to find it. Let's see. There's so many comments. It's hard. So here he goes. And what do you consider the proof? Because it's already written out. Where? You're about to lose 10K quick. Well, of course, these flights would have to exist. That's what this is. And he's none of the 5 people that I challenge. Or he could do the Celestial Navigation Challenge, which he didn't do for some reason. The link is what? He didn't look at the link. Where I give you my answer? Or would you like me to bust your bubble in front of everyone who thinks you know what you're talking about? Yes, that's what I'm asking for. I want you to come here. I want you to first dig deep. Look down in them panties. See if you got any stones in there. And if you do, join me right now. Right? Anyway, or would you like me to bust your bubble in front of everyone who thinks you know what you're talking about without ever having done 2 minutes worth of math? Well, yeah, I guess I've never done math, according to him, huh? Will Clark says, do a live debate with Bite Mahagas, with Haggis showing herself on live video. You're invited, Bite Mahagas. Tim Tully says, for $5, guts. You have his guts for garters. Arr. All right. Well, I don't toss anything. I don't control what happens on YouTube. You're already scared to go back inside. This ain't for kids. So much bluster. So much bluster. Let's see. I'll post right here. We'll see what these nitwits have to say. I'll let you know, though, the open forums at Caltech, Berkeley, and University of Wisconsin couldn't refute my statement. So I doubt you can. And yet he still hasn't joined. Anyway, all right. Let's find it. Let's find it. Published reference books. All right. Here it is. This is it. This is what he sent me in an email. He said here, the hash grid coordinate system, the plotting of coordinates, navigation by bearing and heading using lat long provides a detailed analysis of the topography between any 2 positions on the Earth's surface, including the orientation of one point in relation to any other on the Earth. No 2 positions are inverted in their orientation toward each other. That's his claim. The triangle sum theorem, a mathematical proof, states the sum of a triangle's interior angles on a flat plane with 0 curvature will always equal 180 degrees. On a sphere, it will be greater due to positive curvature. I had never heard that before, Valium. Wow, I've not done the 2 minutes worth of math. He doesn't know me, does he? And it's really greater due to positive curvature. There is only 1-0 degree and 1-180 degree designation given for use within any atlas ever made for chartographic navigation, map coordinates, plotting lat long. There is also no degree of latitude or longitude which is in direct correlation with every other place on the surface of the Earth above the designation of 180. What does the index of a 180 degree angle look like? It's a line. Number one rule of using a hash grid coordinate system to plot coordinates or navigate using bearings headings is that the area surveyed most by a flat plane with zero curvature. So there it is. There is his claimed proof. Now, you may notice one thing missing from that. Measurements. There's no measurements there. Not one. He didn't even make a claim of measurements. His only claim was an atlas. You know, maps that are projections. Projection maps. So, anyway. That's what it is. And so you're here. You are invited. But yet you're not here. I've sent him the link. Anyway, it goes on. Let's see. You think a compass should have more than 360 degrees on a sphere? He doesn't understand spherical trigonometry. Okay, cool. How many degrees should it have, and how would you calculate that? Also, you think that lat long should have more than 180 degrees on a sphere because it's a flat grid system? I don't think so. What's the difference between 20 degrees east and 25 degrees east on the flat grid we all use? Depends on latitude. Completely depends on latitude. Should be the same distance everywhere, right? No. Or is there perhaps something you fundamentally don't understand here? Gosh, all right. Well, that's from Tim. Okay, sorry, that's from Tim. Anyway, where is he at? I don't know. I said I received your email. Oops. I tried to give a thumbs down to my own. My accidental. It was an accident. All right. Anyway, all right. I'll go off of that. So he's not here. So that means that we're gonna open up the lines here. I'm gonna see if I'll post it in my Discord server. And here comes. I got a couple. All right. I'm gonna let everybody on for. Depends how many people are lined up. Right. So this is using Zoom. The link is a Zoom link. And I will post it in the general, and then I'll even post it in the live chat here. So here we go. All right, so I've King Crew, you got it. I'm gonna send it. I talked to Texas Tony. Is that right? Texas Tony. Who keeps getting himself in trouble on Texas Troy. Keeps getting himself in trouble on my Discord server. Like he just can't control himself and stop offending everybody. Stay on topic. All I gotta say, stay on topic. So yes, it seems Bite Mahagus is scared. Did I? Yeah, there it is. Okay, Bite Mahagus, click the link. Go right ahead. Now, I earlier today, by coincidence, I tried calling Mark Sargent. So if you remember a week ago, I called in to Mark Sargent's call-in show and was hung up on. Mark, that's not a good look for you. I wasn't being rude. Anyway, I called him to ask him to tell him, say, hey, Mark, if you come on my show, I won't hang up on you. I'll have a nice friendly talk with you, Mark. But he didn't even answer the phone. I tried twice. So, anyway, AT2, he's got internet problems. So he's in El Paso. Okay. Anyway, so the link's there. We've got two people. So what I'm going to do is, they're already in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enable the waiting room, and then I'm going to, so I can hear you now. If you say something, people at home will hear you too. So people need to, you'll need to just a couple at a time or one at a time. So, all right, King Crew. Can you hear me? Oh, all right. Yes, hold on. I need to do one more audio thing. Microphone is to Zoom, and speaker is to OBS. Okay, now say something. See if they hear you.
Hey, can you hear me now?
There it is. They can hear you. All right.
All right.
Welcome, King Crew. And we've also got another person in. If you want to say hi, you can.
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Good. Who are you? I see your name, but I don't know if you want your name.
I'm just call me Rick.
Rick. All right. We got Rick. Rick and King Crew. Welcome, guys. How you doing? How did you say King Crew's in Florida, but you're a little south of where the storm hit, right?
That's correct. Yeah, the storm didn't really hit my area too bad. But the streets were still pretty flooded, but it wasn't as bad as the rest of Florida got it. So we got lucky.
Okay, well, that's good. So AT2 said we can't hear King Crew. That's perfect. And then he says that I ruined it because they can hear you. Anyway, people wondering about pumpkins. Right there, there's a pumpkin. There it is. I suppose I could have like more pumpkins every week until we get to the end of the month and it's nothing but pumpkins in the background. How about that?
Well, yeah, down here we're celebrating Christmas, so yeah, that's gonna happen till Christmas.
You're celebrating Christmas
in Florida. We celebrate for about 4 months ahead of time. So yeah.
Oh, yeah, that happens, I think. But you never actually get Christmas. You have to have snow for Christmas.
True. Yeah, we don't get that.
So, too bad.
But I just want to come on here and finally figure out, when are you going to start your OnlyFans?
I have no plans for that. That'd be a good way to waste a lot of time and make no money.
You never know. You could come out with this as a millionaire.
In Zimbabwean dollars, maybe.
There you
go. Let's see. PhD Tony says, I love the new glasses. Makes you look less like a 13-year-old.
Ooh, that's tough.
I don't know. All right. And, we've got Timbo Turtle is in the waiting room. Rick, how you doing? What's up with you?
Oh, I'm doing okay. I'm just hanging out. My wife is in a van right now, headed to your part of the world.
Okay.
So I'm being a bachelor for a week or so.
Oh, all right. Is she headed for Minnesota or
Wisconsin?
Okay.
She will drive past you. I told her to wave, but I don't think she'll know.
Well, if she honks a long time, I might hear it. So.
I suspect she'll be traveling south of you. So
yeah, well, she's going to Wisconsin. Yeah, probably depending on where you're coming from, you probably would not hit necessarily Minnesota.
Yeah, well, there's the northern route and the southern route.
Oh, okay.
The southern route comes through Mankato and into the La Crosse area.
Oh yeah, all right. So you get through there.
Yep.
All right.
The northern route goes through Fargo and then down past Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Oh, you're not south of here then. so much. You're
I'm not
west.
south.
Oh,
I'm quite west of you.
okay. Awesome.
You
All
get,
right.
you get on I-95 and drive west until it doesn't go anymore, and it
Isn't
becomes
it?
I-90, and you go until that stops and get to me.
Okay. That's 94, not 95, right?
94. You're right.
Yeah.
94.
All right. Well, good. King Crew, when are you going to come up to Minnesota so I can give you your book?
When are you gonna send me the book? Dan, that's a good question. I might have to make a trip out there just to grab that book
There you
from
go.
me.
Just for the book.
There
Just
you
for
go.
the book. All right.
Yep.
White Mahogis, get in here. I'll dump these other clowns and you'll come in top of the list. What do you think, people? Are you
I
good with
think
that?
she's scared.
Yeah.
I will very happily bow out so that Bite Magus can take my place.
Yeah. Well,
Nah, she's scared. She's already come up with a bunch of excuses how it's a clown show, how it's she's gonna feel like teamed up on. Yeah, she's scared.
all right. Well, all right. Let's see what Timbo Turtle has to say. We'll bring in Timbo in. Mallory is actually, somebody's talking about Mallory. She's going to be on next week. Got a debate next week between Mallory and Kyle. And they're debating whether or not hot dogs are sandwiches.
That's a lie. They're not sandwiches. No.
Well, hey, bring your opinion to the debate, and it shall be hashed out.
Well, I mean, as king of everything, it's not a sandwich. So yeah, debate over.
I didn't know you're king of everything.
Everything.
All right, so Timbo has an avatar. So hold on, I'm gonna have to show the avatar. There we go. And get rid of the gin. I have the guy from last week still.
Gin.
His name up on the screen. We don't want that. There we go. All right.
G'day, mate. Can you hear me?
I can.
Great.
Sounds like Timbo the Turtle is upside down.
Well, if you're a flat earther, I am, yeah. G'day, mate.
Oh, yeah. I need to. I got to open my tab actually.
Good idea.
Yeah.
I don't have that. I haven't seen those for years down here.
They're hard to get. NASA sends them to me.
I was going to ask you, had an alternate challenge for if I know you're going to have trouble getting people to do that flight.
Yeah.
But I've had a few discussions lately. Seems that flat earthers don't believe Australia is as wide as it is. It's about twice as wide. So you could do a much cheaper challenge just by driving from Sydney to Perth and look at the odometer of your car.
Oh my gosh. How that would. Is there a more boring drive?
It's 40 odd hours all up, and 41 hours if you don't stop. Yeah, probably not.
So my question is, if Australia is all CGI, can you change the scenery at any time?
It's a good idea.
Why? We've got pretty good scenery. Why would you change it?
I think we have Glenn Salch. Somebody was saying something to Glenn Salch. Make sure Glenn has the link. So why the underground turtle, underwater turtle for your avatar? What was it?
He gets around. Sometimes he heads off into space, and sometimes he's underwater where it's cooler.
I see.
Just always, he's been around. This one's just always part of the tech, having the fun of creating your own avatar.
Yeah. How do you do the where it sinks the mouth?
I use Adobe Character, and I can even get his arms and stuff to move, but means I've got to put my whole body in the camera.
Okay, so it's just reading your movements. That's
it's just
cool.
facial track. Facial track, and
I know
so
Team Skeptic has done that.
yeah,
I don't think he's done it for a
fun
while.
thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done it a couple of my videos, turning Mr. Gleason into a talking avatar. That's fun.
Nice. It's actually warm here. It had been cold for a while, and it's warm now. So.
It's not. It's raining here. It's been raining. It's going to rain all week too.
Well, so I have a
I'll get
fan
down
on.
to
If you
that.
hear the fan in the background, that's why.
You got lots of fans. They're all out in the channel.
I know. PC Tony, debating the sandwichness of hot dogs. When did you become a drama channel? Well, it won't be the main event. So, but anytime anytime Mallory's on, it's a mess in so many ways.
It's fun though.
I was just going to say when MC Toon forgot my book, it became a drama channel.
I have it. I have it right here.
I bet you do have it. I don't have it.
Hold on a second. I gotta get my glasses on here to find it. Nope, that's F in exams. There it is. Gravity. A baby's book for gravity. I read this the first time I had Dion Smo on. I read the whole thing to him. He just sat there and let me read it. Like, he was enthralled by it. So, yeah. All right. All right. I do have to send it. So, keep bugging me. I do need to go back to Florida. We're talking about going in the this winter, so it might happen. I see Timbo is now in space. That's nice.
Hey, if you come down to Florida, tab is on me, my friend.
Will NASA send it down to you?
It will, for sure. I already spoke to the NASA Karens.
All right.
At HR. Don't worry about it. It's all taken care of.
We're not sure if we're gonna go as far south as you are. Maybe just down towards Pensacola again. It's a nice place. So
Pensacola is a nice place. Yeah, let me know when you're there. I might meet you out there.
Ooh, all right. Well, it would be it'd be in the winter, so
Okay.
like January, February area. So
Gotcha.
So what? Let's see. All right. Lord is probing time says, why is Gary still holding a wrench? Oh, Gary. Ooh, Gary has a wrench. Oh, jeez. I'm sorry.
It's dangerous.
Gary, you've behaved. I appreciate that. So thank you for that. But people, Gary does not get timed out.
Aww.
Because I've not seen him say anything that is timeout worthy. So as far
his
as I know,
name is timeout worthy.
if you want to do something, if he really sends a lot of derp, there's actually a channel on my Discord server where you can copy paste his derp. So I mean that should be a little bit of therapy for you if it's. And if there's 25 people that need to copy paste his derp in there, then let that be your therapy.
I like it.
Yeah.
He just personally insulted Charlie Welch. Well, what? But was it? But let's be fair. Sometimes Charlie needs that, right?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, there we go. I don't. What did he say? I'll find it.
Get back.
I gotta search backwards. Where did Gary? Charlie says
Still getting out of Gary's. Gone. I was still getting out of Gary. Was on your channel last time. We were.
Yeah.
Then he came on and talked to us at Aussie Perspective and online and just in chat. Still can't get that. We can't work that out. It's a magical little horizon line that disappears with his perspective.
Oh, never mind. It's how Charlie Wrench and them kind of say hi to each other. All right.
All right. Anyway, all right. All right. And so after last week, we had Jin on, and Jin's got a friend, and not a flat earther, a friend on the on Gem's server, Gem Panda server. Queen of the Trolls, she goes by. I think Trish is her name, but she was getting timed out on here, and she wasn't really doing anything that was timeout worthy. So I have to say, if you're gonna time somebody out, other than 33, get a screenshot and put it on the. There's a channel on my Discord server for mods, for chat mods on the YouTube. So send it in so it's, you know, and if it's something, because I can look later, I don't want to. That's a pain in the butt. To go and find some, please just take a screenshot.
That's why we've got mods.
Yeah, and if there's ever a question, just don't do it. I mean, I'm here, so. Mark Beiser, can you time him out if he reverts to his usual old cut and paste term? No, that's the therapy. You copy pasted into the channel on my Discord server just for the therapy session. It's free. I don't charge anything for it. But yes, 33 gets time. The only rule about 33 is take turns. If you've already timed him out, if you were the winner of Whack-A-Troll, then you know, don't participate with the next round of Whack-A-Troll. Let somebody else, you know.
Got it.
There we go.
Oh, we've got Maz Tricks.
Everyone a fair suck of the sav.
Ryan Casey. So we've got oh my gosh. He's gonna give a lesson.
Math lessons. I want to hear this.
All right. I got my notebook ready. It's got line, it's got graph paper in it even, right? Graph paper. I'll do it. All right. Ryan Casey, it's there. Don't go too crazy on me, because if you go too crazy, then people like, hold on. He's not sane. You can't have him on. And I don't want that.
I mean, I hope you have enough time for this. I
got another one.
Oh,
right here. So
do you still get different flavored tabs over there?
I didn't know there was different flavor tabs.
Yeah. Back in the 70s, we used to get different flavored here.
I don't remember the 70s. I'm only 13, remember?
Oh, sorry, I forget about that. I'm a little bit older than that then.
Dick Wayne is a good question. Can the Cavendish experiment demonstrate upward attraction, or is it just down and left, right? Well, the way the Cavendish experiment is normally configured, it can only measure lateral force. It's designed intentionally to negate the downward pull.
Gravity.
But you could do it to demonstrate an upward attraction by having them on a same thing on a it's basically a teeter-totter, right? It's a bar with a wire in the middle, and you could put the mass above and the mass below and see how much it tips. But there is a Cavendish type experiment. Well, it's not really that Cavendishy. It's with many tons of mercury. So they have these big vessels and there's mercury, and then inside the vessels where there's like basically two, there's above and below, and these, anyway, that they move the mercury around to be above these weights and below these weights, and then the weights are on a scale, and up at the top they measure using a balance scale how much the masses were modified by the presence of the mercury. And some nice things about mercury is it doesn't stick to the walls or anything. It has a super strong a cohesion to itself. So when you pump it out, you get all of it. Like water would wet the sides. So you're pretty certain your margin of error on that is smaller. So, all right, I've got to read a couple things here. We got David Dorenzo is a new member at Newton. Thank you for that. I'm going to see if, yeah, we've got Ryan Casey in here. All right, so we need to You let him have a little bit. But Ryan, while you're connecting, I got to read a couple more messages from the audience. All right. Clicky click. There it is. All right. Tim Tully, you were the ones that said you have his guts for garters. David Dorenzo says, if someone completes the Celestial Navigation Challenge, would you call them a sextant worker? I think you could maybe say anybody that successfully does celestial navigation could be called that, right?
Oh dear.
I do like that. That's all right. Zoomy the Tomato says goats are like tomatoes, and that there's a P in front of tomato, and then I like turtles with a P in front of it. NA for $6.66 says, I dig those glasses. I'm looking for a pair just like them. They were from Zenni, and Zenni has not sponsored this message. Zenni. They started about $25.
Cool. I'm doing it with my best.
Oh. All right. And then one more. We got Cretan Bowl says the answer to the glasses question is even more frame. Buddy Holly or bust? I could get some Buddy Holly glasses.
Buddy Holly.
There you go.
All right.
I have to agree with that.
Welcome to Ryan Casey exposing Ma's tricks.
Hey, Michael, can you hear me?
I can.
Excellent.
Do you want to see me? I suppose since you're on a mobile, I'll do that. Hold on.
Yeah, there we go.
I see
Nice.
you are. Are you still in? Washington?
That's correct. I'm
And
living
nice.
on a hill in a forest.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
You were in some sort of a different place last time.
Yeah, I was at the food bank that I work at.
And what happened there?
I had an opportunity to set up a camp in a cool spot, so it's been awesome. I got my little Weber grill.
Okay.
I make all sorts of good shit out here.
That doesn't actually sound good. Why would you cook that up? Could you find some meat or vegetables?
That's funny. Hey, I just wanted
the iron.
I want to ask you a question. Why would we use a sextant? We don't say tan.
None of that makes sense.
Why is there a horizon, Michael? You say tangential sight along a sinusoidally curving surface is causing the horizon, right?
Oh my gosh.
We don't say that. Right?
We don't say that.
No, none of what you say makes sense.
No.
None of it.
Okay, you think you're looking tangentially along the ball, right? And that's what creates the horizon, right? The rest of the ball is falling under your line of sight to the last part of the ball you can see. You say tan. Correct, right?
I have no clue. Just keep going. Just keep going. It's yep. I'm waiting for the math, but until you keep doing this and then we get to the math.
I'm not providing any maps today.
I got my
I said I was gonna
notebook
give you a
ready.
map.
You said you're going to do
gonna-
math.
Oh, math. Yeah. You ready? Well, what's my big number, right?
I don't know.
Remember 42? Fish adds to 42. I'm trying to get you all out of the fish story, right?
I am what the hell are you talking about?
Don't do drugs, people.
All
Well,
right, remember,
I think in his case he should. I think Ryan that there probably are some drugs that you could get prescribed that would help you.
right. Well, listen, the world is stuck in the age of Pisces. Okay, I'm the water bearer. I'm trying to get you into Aquarius. It's not a coincidence that February FE is the month for Aquarius. But okay, so let's do it. So fish adds to 42. I remember we did this together. 6 and 9 is 15. 19 is 34 plus H 8 is 42, right?
No.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
go
yeah.
ahead. That's great. Go ahead.
Okay, so why don't you do math? Do math right now. I'll tell you what. M is 13.
This
1.
isn't math. This is just randomly assigning things numbers and then randomly doing stuff.
Oh,
with
the
them.
alphabet. So A isn't the first letter in the alphabet. Z isn't the 26th.
Uh-oh.
So let me do math for you, okay? M is 13 plus A, that's 1, that's 14. Plus T is 20, that's 34. Plus H, 8. Ooh, it's 42 again. Look at that. Let's try sin. 19 plus 9 is 28 plus N, 14. Oh, that's 42 again. Oh, shit. Oh, wow. Interesting. Let's try self. Oh, 19 plus 5, that's 24. Plus L, that's 12. That's 36. Plus F, so that's 6. Oh, it's 42 again. Interesting. Let's try globe. This is where it gets interesting because there's another important number, and it's the 41, the fool. And globe is 7 plus 12 is 19 plus O is 15. What does that put us at? 34 plus 2, 36 plus 5, that's 41. Now you think this all is meaningless, but
yes, I do. Definitely, I'm in for meaningless.
yeah, it's all just meaningless. But like I said before, it takes two to tango, and Satan and Jesus on the hill, the fool on the hill. You should listen to that song again, Michael. But let's talk about my experiment because you've had plenty of time to think about it.
Okay. Okay.
So tell me why either it's not valid, or if I do get the result I get, how you can still explain it with your heliocentric model.
All right. So you want to talk about Ryan's experiment?
I just wanted you to tell me why it's not valid.
Okay. Now the
or
people at home, the people at home probably are unfamiliar with it. So.
Well, then you should be able to tell them, right? Because you've already told me.
That, you want me to explain your experiment to the people? Okay, I will.
Yeah.
So Ryan's experiment is to he proposes or hypothesizes that the sun doesn't set, but instead it's about the aperture and the aperture size. Something about the aperture size causes the speed of light to change as it enters the aperture, so that light from the sun, the light from the sun magically changes, and you don't see it.
Oh lordy! Oh lordy! That was horrible. That was not even close.
It's a good thing you're here to explain it.
Okay, right. So you guys say tangential sight along the curving Earth is causing the horizon, right? And you say when the sun sets, the Earth is spinning into your line of sight and getting in the way of your angle to the sun, right? You can agree to that?
Yeah.
So 5 cameras all placed at the exact same height. The sun should disappear at the exact same time in every single camera, correct?
Yeah.
Now, if I change the aperture of any of those cameras, it is not changing the field of view whatsoever, right?
I could not say that for certain. There are some cameras I think that might change the field of view, but in this experiment, I don't think it will make a difference.
If I'm using the exact same camera, the exact same lenses, everything, the aperture is just changing the amount of light that's being let in. It's not changing the field of view whatsoever.
Like I said, I could not agree with that exactly. It seems correct to me, but I don't know quite enough about cameras to agree.
Okay, well, until you've done more research, let's just agree that that is the case, okay?
Let's include that in your hypothesis. Okay. That's
okay. So you believe that no matter what I do to the aperture, the sun will still set the same time in every single camera.
Yes.
Okay. And if it doesn't, then what will you say?
Then I'll say, we might not understand cameras and light as well as we thought we did.
Oh, but you're the only excuse for the sun disappearing is the Earth is getting in your line of sight, correct?
Yes.
So changing the aperture shouldn't have any effect.
Yeah. Now somebody did mention something, and I think it's a good point, and I think I'll draw it out for you. In your particular experiment, I don't think it would make a difference, but I can't say that too strongly. All right, I need a pen. Where's my pen? Oh, I've got a Sharpie. So we've got, let's just take 2 apertures, right?
Okay.
All right. There's one, and I'm going to draw them exaggerated different in size. Right now, of course, I made them circular in a camera. They tend to have sides on them. So they're curved usually, but they're flat-ish.
Mm-hmm.
So now these apertures are looking at the sun. Let's say the sun is the camera, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the sun is getting obstructed bottom up, right there, like this, right? Let's get here, all right? Bottom up, getting obstructed, right? So when this the small aperture is completely covered, right there, the other aperture still is getting light, right? So for the amount of time that it takes the sun to traverse that short distance, the larger aperture will receive sunlight. Oh my goodness. All right.
Little pumpkin.
This is, yes, now with more pumpkin. There it is. This is Turtle. And he's orange. He's orange. So you could consider him a pumpkin, I suppose. What do you think, Turtle? Where's his bow tie?
Doesn't want to wear it.
Aw. All right. If you're a fan of the Flurf Wiki, Microraptor has put on a picture of Turtle with a bow tie. He's ready to go work because he's a attorney at Paw. So he yeah, when he goes to work, he wears a bow tie. So all right, there you go. Thank you. He's a big cat. All right. So anyway, the point is, yes, there's a small amount of time where the upper part of the one aperture will have a view to the sun that the other one does not. How much difference that makes, because the apertures on a regular camera are really small compared to that, I don't know. But I suppose it's possible that more than 1/30th of a second difference could happen.
Okay, but the initial disappearing of the bottom of the sun should happen at the exact same time in every camera, right?
I'm going to go with it. It could potentially make a slight difference. So your margin of error is going to be small. So you're going to want to do the physics on that to find out what the actual margin of error is.
The physics of it. I don't. What are the physics of it?
That's on you. The
Your
experiment.
field of, okay, but the field of view is still the exact same. So if you have the same exact field of view,
yeah, like I
and
said,
it's that
the
Earth
aperture
obstructing it, then it's going to happen at the same time. I don't know.
you would need to do in your methodology, you'd want to make sure you controlled for that variable. So
the variable of
the size of the aperture,
bigger aperture.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I have to do more research on the apertures and prove to you that they all have the same field of view no matter what.
No, you should do research on the aperture and control for that variable.
Okay, but the variable is the size of the aperture.
Yes. And so
So I
there
can't
is-
control for that variable. That
well,
is the variable.
when I say control, it doesn't mean you change it or don't change it or set the size or don't set the size. It means that you include it in your methodology, in the calculations. So
All right.
now I would say even with that, let's say that there are a few milliseconds of time between there, that it could be potentially a couple frames because they're going at 30 frames a second. Of course, the cameras won't be synchronized to have their shutters begin and end at the same 30th of a second window. So there's that too. So it depends on what you're saying for the exact same time. But if you're proposing that the reason why the sun sets is because of aperture size, then you don't need milliseconds. You need hours. You need never. You need the sun to never set.
No. I'm not saying it's due to the size of it. I'm saying it's due to what's happening to the light inside of the aperture.
Yeah.
By
Now,
changing
why doesn't it happen to the other light? Why is other light excused from this behavior?
What do you mean?
For some reason, you think that only the sunlight is affected by this, whatever happens.
Well, the horizon is a very hazy place. You can't really tell what's going on there. That's why it requires experiment.
It's not always hazy, but
To you, it's not, but
Pick a land,
I can pretty
pick a
much
land
guarantee
horizon rather than a sea one.
there's a mirage every single horizon. You guys just refuse to admit that.
it's a claim you would need to support with evidence, right?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
you also claim the Earth is curving after the horizon,
Yes,
but it could be
been measured.
it could be yeah, it could be a ramp. You know, a ramp would produce the exact same phenomenon. So how did you prove it isn't a ramp beyond the horizon?
Well, again, prove is not something you can do in reality.
How did you disprove the ramp theory?
There you go. Because we've measured multiple times the surface of the Earth to be spherical. It's always measured that way, of course. Maybe there's a ramp somewhere that we're unaware of and it's not yet been measured. And that's the beauty of science and understanding that you can't actually prove things because, like you said, maybe at some place there is a ramp and we've just not yet discovered it.
So science can't prove things, but is evolution a fact?
I think there seems to be an awful lot of evidence for evolution.
But you wouldn't call it a fact.
I don't know if fact is the right word for it.
What about the F act, the force act, gravity? Do you consider that a fact?
The affect.
The F act, the force act?
Let me read this first from Ezhick, which I think is if I'm not mistaken, Ezhick, and I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong, is Belarusian for hedgehog. It says support for your friends at the Legion of the Bouncy Castle. Well, thank you for that. Is gravity a fact? I can be confident in saying gravity is a fact because we can directly observe it. Yeah.
Directly observe it how?
Well, before you came on, we were talking about the Cavendish experiment and other versions of it and reproductions of it.
Okay, I have a question for you then.
Was that yellow? I'm colorblind. Was that yellow?
So if something,
It was yellow.
that's Mountain Dew, baby.
Mountain Dew.
That's that good old Mountain Dew. Those who refuse it are few.
Oh my! We're gonna have to trust that it's Mountain Dew.
Okay, so in Cavendish, right? There's a something hanging from a ceiling, right? And you say because it's hanging, the gravity of the Earth is a null effect, then, right? And that way, the things that are around it can start affecting it, right?
Yeah, they control for that by having the bar hang there and then have the masses on either side of it. So yeah, it's evened out. Yep.
So there's a string hanging right here. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see that string?
Yes.
Okay, nice. So the Earth's gravity is a null effect. So now if I put something near it, like my fist, we should see that string move towards me, right?
No.
Not much, but there's a force. Yes.
Oh, so if I put something really, really heavy by it, then it would probably do it, right?
Yeah, but I don't know if you're going to be able to get something that heavy close to it.
Okay. Maybe if I made it heavier. I'd like to see a Cavendish, sort
It
of
would have to
experiment
be
done.
far heavier than your head.
Yes.
I would love to see a Cavendish done where there isn't the reliance on the twisting of a string to make the thing happen, you know?
Why? Do strings
Why?
not twist?
They do twist, and they seem to twist automatically no matter what.
Oh, well, yeah, so that's easy to control for. You just wait until it stops twisting.
You wait until it stops twisting.
Yeah. So you set it up, you set up your apparatus,
Mm-hmm.
and then of course there's going to be a twist on it. Now you can actually do a time of swing analysis, but if you don't want that particular type, you can just wait, because it'll eventually stop twisting and it'll come to rest. Okay, so then what?
And then what? And then you remove all the air from the room, right? Because you don't want any of the air pushing that string in one direction and twisting it, starting to get twist, right?
Okay.
And then you probably don't want any people in the room because you're going to move the air, and then the air is going to move, right? So
Well, we've already removed the air from the room, so if the people are in the room, they're not moving.
oh wait,
Right?
Cavendish has been done. Cavendish
Right?
has been done in a vacuum.
Many times,
Cavendish?
yes. Many times.
Is there any video recording after that?
I'm sure there is.
Yes.
Sure there is.
Could you send that to me sometime?
You'll say nuh-uh. Won't you?
Well, I mean, if it exists, then how can I say no?
All right. I have, let's see. I'm pretty sure I have it on my website already.
I always want to know, why is it we got to do the our own research for them?
Well, I
What are you
mean,
talking about?
flat earthers rarely do good experiments. They don't know how to control for confounding variables, right? They get confused when you talk about that. So
You guys don't
No, but
do
it's
anything though. You guys stick with the
No,
stick.
but you just
Proved it
said do
2,500
your own
years ago.
research. Do your own research, but Matoon's got to find the video for you. that's what I mean.
Well, I've
Just happens
Timbo,
all the
I've,
time.
I've searched for Cavendish in a vacuum. I can't find it. I've been told by numerous people it
can't?
exists, but
mctoon.net/G.
Yeah.
And there's 18 measurements of the strength of gravity, and several of them are inside evacuated chambers. All right. I have... All right, on my website, my first treatment of gravity is mctoon.net/gravity, and I think that in there I have the videos of it actually, of one of the experiments actually happening, and I'm not finding it at the moment. It's very boring because it's inside of an evacuated chamber. So in an evacuated chamber, how are you going to see it?
Well, you told me it exists, so I would love to see what it looks like. I've never seen it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I will send it to you.
Thank you.
There is also Blue Marble Science who has done it. Now, it's not in an evacuated chamber, but the chamber where the masses are is in a sealed chamber, so any air movement is blocked.
Well, I'd love to see that one too.
Yep. Blue Marble Science. Go to YouTube and then type Blue Marble Science.
Yes.
You'll find it there. You can also look for the one by BM Furball, who did it also. Now, this is at home, a home experiment, so you don't have easy access to a vacuum chamber. He did it in a room in his apartment in Korea, and he sealed off that room. He covered over the vents. He did the entire apparatus in a case of Lexans so that there were no air currents.
Well, it's interesting though, 'cause I certainly weigh more than a steel ball, don't I?
Yes, but you're
Yet
some
that string
people
didn't
might
move very
some people might disagree, but you're not as dense.
I saw what you did there, McToon. Good one.
Glad. I gotta say, Ryan, that most you get those. Most flat earthers don't.
Well, boners do disprove gravity, so.
What?
Boners disprove gravity.
Oh my God.
What?
Here's another question for you, McToon.
Can you lift your hand?
The
All right.
sun is constantly losing mass, right?
Yes.
And the black hole we're spinning around is constantly gaining mass, right?
Yes.
Why is everything the same always? It's so fucking weird.
It's not.
It's not.
But as a percent, I think you could do this math and you could comprehend this at least, right? The change is small enough. It's a tiny percentage, right? A
Mhm.
tiny percentage. So how much? What's your ability to sense the difference in a change of mass of the sun of, I don't know, offhand, 0.0000001%. What's your ability to sense that change?
Oh, I don't know, McToon. I'm just saying.
To think that you would have the ability to sense that change is pretty ridiculous, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
I mean, if by the time you die, Polaris hasn't moved at all, would you still be a heliocentric guy?
But Polaris moves.
What's Polaris? I've never seen it.
Of course you haven't. Timbo, you got a fish right in the middle of your name there. 4-2 right there, MB.
Timbo is in Australia. He can't see it. If the Earth were flat, he would be able to see it.
Oh, okay. So your expectation of
Can you see?
planar sight is you'd see everything above you and below you ad infinitum, right?
Well, especially things high above you.
So higher things, yeah. Particularly up in, if it's on the dome, you'd think you'd be able to see it.
And
How
you know
high is
this
the dome?
because you've always lived on a ball, right? You guys really do believe in science. I love you guys.
How
I
high is?
I didn't know I lived.
How
Sorry,
high
I
is
didn't
the
know I
dome?
lived on a ball.
All right, Ryan. How high is the dome?
I have no clue, friend.
Okay, well, I personally measured the sun's elevation on the December solstice to be just under 2,000 miles if the Earth were flat.
Wait, hang on. You believe the dome exists?
I don't.
Right. No, I'm asking Brian, right?
Ryan, okay.
I don't hold beliefs.
You don't hold beliefs.
No.
Do you? So
What do you hold?
That's all he has.
I do what the maker of this world asked me to do.
Oh, and you know what the maker wants of you? How?
How?
Does the maker speak in your ear at night?
Speed
Does the
dial,
maker come into your dream?
Well, like I said, I'm out of the fish story. So the self, 42.
Out of the fish story?
Now I'm just
It's
her
a
fool.
Douglas Adams book.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
42.
So I need a towel before we can carry on this conversation. Are we?
well, you probably think that you are the creator of your own thoughts, right?
No,
So where do your thoughts come from?
I have no idea.
Okay. Well, when you get to where I've gotten, you'll know.
Oh,
Where are you?
of course. You are enlightened and the rest of us aren't. Thank you.
Yes, I was forced upon the ladder and I've climbed the ark and now I am the water bearer. You all are stuck in the ring of Pisces.
And,
I'm the worst.
and here we are on a channel dedicated to flat Earth, talking about cameras. Our channel dedicated to the shape of the Earth, talking about cameras, which still have no idea what the hell that has to do with the shape of the Earth. We're talking about What else are we talking about, Mike? What we're not talking about is geodesy.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone out and measured reciprocal zenith angles?
No.
Okay. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what zenith means, but I don't know what you mean by the
Okay.
reciprocal.
Okay. So, do I understand that in this sense, doing our own research does not entail going out and understanding how to measure the surface of the Earth and actually doing those measurements for ourselves? Am I correct
Okay.
in understanding that, or am I wrong?
If you're talking about zenith angles, then you're not measuring the surface of the Earth.
Oh, wait a minute.
Of
Of
course,
course
they
we
are.
are.
But that's your belief. But guess what?
Yeah. Okay. We'll call it a belief, and then you can toss it out and throw it away. But the measurements are real. We've made the measurements. They tell us things about the shape of the Earth.
I mean, that is your belief. But
No, that's a
Satan and
fact.
Sky both add up to 55.
No,
Showed us a
stop.
trap.
Stop. That is a fact.
That's a measurement,
Not a belief.
Ryan. It's a
It's an
measurement.
observation.
Listen, you can measure angles all you want, but if you're making assumptions, then
Nope.
your assumptions
It's
No,
it's
you are-
impossible.
no,
Oh,
it is.
bias your measurement.
impossible
You are
to
making
not.
assumptions that
Wait,
I'm
I-
making assumptions.
I got Rick. To be clear, it's impossible to do anything without an assumption. You can't use a tape
Right.
measure without an assumption,
True.
right? You're assuming that the line
No,
for
no,
inch
no.
2 is correct.
Mike, let's be
Okay.
really clear about this. The observations are not assumptions. The observations are facts.
Yeah.
What those observations mean requires some form of interpretation that requires some level of assumptions. Those assumptions can be reasonable or not reasonable, and we can talk about them. But the measurements, the observations, are facts. They're not assumptions.
Well, your first assumption is that the horizon is caused by your tangential site along the curving surface of the Earth.
Not with
What does that
reciprocal
have to
zenith
do with
angles.
reciprocal zenith angles?
What's that?
What does that have? What does anything about the horizon have to do with reciprocal zenith angle?
Because you've already decided you're on a ball.
No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So why would you say that? What makes you think that reciprocal zenith angles is because we assume we live in a ball, right? You don't even know what reciprocal zenith angles are, so it seems a little weird that you're having a commentary on it.
Explain them to me.
It's a
You
little
can't- wait,
weird
so-
you asking for them to be explained to you when you've already proclaimed things about them when you don't know what they are. I think you're a little ahead of yourself there, Ryan. Right?
Oh, so you guys don't funnel every observation through we're on a ball spinning and going around the sun?
No.
Oh, interesting.
We didn't get to think that the Earth is the shape it is by first assuming that it is the shape that it is.
But you don't believe that Eratosthenes proved it with a stick 2,500 years ago?
No, he measured it with a stick. He measured it.
Did he have to assume there was a ball first?
Yes, he absolutely did, based on previous observations.
And what would that be? What observation would that be?
Well, Aristotle made a lot of observations. The alternating, but other than Aristotle, I don't know specifically which ones he talked about, but the alternating directions of the north and south celestial poles, the path of the stars across the sky, the path of the sun and the moon, the sun and the moon getting obstructed, distant objects getting obstructed bottom up with increasing distance. All of those things to the ancients were things that they could observe. They didn't need rockets.
Eratosthenes measured basically two angles, right? The one angle where it was right above the well, and the other angle at Alexandria.
Yeah.
Do that with 3 angles simultaneously. Do that with 4 angles at the same time. You come up with simultaneous measurements that cannot possibly be true on a flat surface.
Actually, where it is, we see it.
All right, so the question that you asked was, what about Eratosthenes and his experiment? Now, we don't have to use his. We can completely ignore his because it's not difficult to do yourself. You could do it any day yourself, or if you want, you can do it on the solstices and the equinoxes because we know where the sun is on those days. It's a little easier. We know on those days the sun is either over the equator or over one of the tropics. Right? So I measured the angle to the sun on the December solstice. I got 22.5 degrees at local solar noon. And I know the distance from where I am to the Tropic of Capricorn, where the sun was at that moment. And I can presume that the Earth is flat. And I can get the elevation of the sun, which is just under 2,000 miles.
Mhm.
So that's the flat Earth elevation of the sun. It must be that high unless there's some other physics that you know about and are willing to provide evidence for. But lacking that, that's how it works. That's a fact. If the Earth is flat, that's the elevation of the sun. The problem is that simultaneously from Perth, Australia, you can measure the elevation of the sun and you'll get 4,000 miles elevation. Same day.
Same time.
Doesn't work, does it? There's a
Well,
problem.
maybe there's a flaw in your measurement that you're not aware of.
Well, then tell me it. What's the flaw? How's the right way to measure the angle to the sun? Tell me.
Well, maybe that's the trouble you get into is measuring angles to the sun. Maybe the sun is different than what you're thinking.
I don't care about maybes. Right? We're past that. 10,000 years ago, you could talk about maybes all you want. But we've done these things.
Is refraction a thing?
It is. Yes. And
So
what
is it-
refraction does in the atmosphere is well known as well.
And we know how to account for it.
Yeah. Refraction causes distant objects to appear slightly higher. At 22.5 degrees, the sun isn't at 22.5 degrees. It's at 22.6 degrees. I got to tell you, that's not going to change the outcome very much. It might say that the sun is not 1,950 miles in elevation. It might mean that the sun is 1,970 miles in elevation. Does that make a difference in this particular instance? We can include the refraction, but it doesn't actually help you.
Can we agree though that the odds that the sun is actually in the place that you see it are 0?
Yes, absolutely.
So the whole point of the measurements are just useless then.
They're completely useful. You don't need to have that. It's called a control. We can control for refraction because we know what it does. It doesn't mean that the sun is on the other side of the world. It means that it's slightly offset from where we see it. That's all it means.
Okay, let's envision a flat water resurface.
Okay, wait. You're going to assume that it's flat.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Could a flat
Let's be clear about
surface?
that. You are assuming that it's flat.
Okay,
Yeah, I get the irony of that too.
Yeah.
you don't get the irony of iron being Fe though. So, but let's say there's a flat watery surface.
What's tin?
Huh?
What's tin?
What's argon?
Ar.
What's tin?
I don't know what tin is.
The irony. It doesn't matter. It's just dumb letters. All right, go on.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. Life has got Fe in it too for no reason. Let's.
Well, it does. Otherwise, it's Lee.
Yeah. Well, let's talk
All right,
about.
let's hear it. All right.
Let's talk about that Skunk Bay video, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so in Skunk Bay, there's an inlet that is clearly not beyond the horizon. right? And throughout the
But,
day,
all right, for people who
different amounts.
just
of
a second,
go ahead.
can I give a preview for people? There's a video across Skunk Bay, which is right, and you can see it's a time lapse. You can see the actual horizon and the buildings moving up and down throughout the day.
No, that's not true. There is no horizon in the video.
All right, whatever. You see the distant objects moving up and down.
They're actually the middle ground. Different amounts of the inlet and the buildings upon it, different amounts of the bottom is being unresolved throughout the day. And I want to understand what you think is happening there, because if the bottoms of things can be hidden by optical things, then you have to come up with some kind of experiment to prove that it's curvature hiding boats.
Wait a minute.
Keeps talking about prove. He's a pseudoscientist.
Yeah.
Science doesn't prove anything, sweetie.
All right, well, then you have to disprove that it's optics.
Do you think there could be multiple reasons for different for the same phenomenon?
Oh, sure.
And so I can't see the front of my house because I'm inside, but I could maybe not see the front of the house because I'm blind. just saying that because of one thing that disproves another, that doesn't make any sense. So,
Okay, but you guys, maybe you say it's not proven, but you believe that boats are being obscured by the curvature of the earth, correct?
Generally, yes.
yes,
Okay.
in most cases, yeah.
Okay, so if there is an example of another effect hiding things, then why do you believe it's still curvature? There's no science to demonstrate
Wait,
one over the other.
Wait. So other things can obscure what we see. That somehow means that curvature can't obscure what we see in other circumstances? I don't follow your reasoning there.
Okay. All right. You and I, we go out and we watch a boat disappear bottom first. You say
All the way.
curvature. My other friend says there's a ramp. I say it's an optical effect. Design an experiment to prove one or the other, or disprove one over the other.
Okay, and
Why do I
you know
care?
what?
Let's take a step back. Why do I care? I have tons of other reasons to believe that the earth is curved.
But do you know the other reason
Why
the
do I
first
care
thought the
about
Earth was
this
curved?
one situation? Please tell me.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know the reason
Care
why they
enough to be
thought
on
that the
here
Earth
right
was
now.
curved?
Well,
Do you know
yeah,
other
I
reasons
do.
I did it.
because I like the humor value of some of the things you guys come up with.
Yeah.
But
I've
I'm
done it.
still not following your reasoning here. Why do I have to prove anything about this one observation, given the tons of other observations that I have and others have made that kind of prove that, we're certainly not flat. It's most likely spheroidal in shape. And I'm supposed to toss all of that information out because of this one thing you have set up, this thought experiment? I don't get your reasoning here.
Well, it's the most common cited reason for how the ancients knew that they
Give
should.
a damn what the most common cited
It
reason
doesn't matter if it's the most common.
I don't
It's
care
one-
what the ancients. I don't
It's
care what the
one of a
ancients said.
million. You have to disprove a million, not just one.
I don't give one single shit about what the ancients said. Fuck them.
Okay, but if it's not curvature causing boats to disappear bottom first, that means that surface is flat.
No, it
doesn't.
doesn't.
It doesn't
No.
automatically. That's a false dichotomy.
Yes.
I think
That is
That's
definitely
called a non
false dichotomy.
sequiter. Non sequitur.
Absolutely.
You didn't establish that
Non
yet.
sequitur.
Well, I guess it could
Complete
still be
non
the ramp.
sequitur.
I just want to ask you one question though, Rick, real quick. If I wanted to mathematically find the shape of an object, how do you do that?
Oh, was that for me?
Mathematically?
No, for Rick.
For
Mathematically.
Ryan?
Sure.
Ryan.
Ryan is
Well,
our
you can
token
count-
flurf here, so I appreciate everybody being kind to him, giving him time.
You can count the sides if you want.
But there's a there is a math, I guess, thing you can use that most people use to find the shape of an object. I call it trigonometry. But how would you find the shape of something using that?
I don't use math to find the shape of something.
No.
I look at it.
Oh, we know.
Okay.
Look at it.
We
Okay.
know.
Perfect.
You look at
Could
it. So let me get this straight. You look at something to determine its shape. You do know that human eyesight isn't that great and is not a great measuring tool, correct?
Oh, should I look to the sky like you guys do? Will that help
Sure.
me determine?
That's one way.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's one way. Yeah.
I
One of
feel like
many.
we'll build
One of
nothing.
many.
That's what I gotta say. You better not be building anything. That's all I
The angles to Polaris is a very good way.
Yeah.
And the physical model that I created when I made my video, I didn't assume the Earth was a sphere. I assumed that it's flat. Created the model on a flat Earth, and then found it didn't work. So when I wrapped it around a sphere, it did. Sorry.
But getting back to its original thing, and a little bit simpler than using maths, you know what the ancients did, if you want to use the term ancients, when they saw the boat disappear over the horizon?
Well, first of all, let's make
They've
sure.
gotten another, but they got in another boat to find out where the boat had gone. And then they could see the boat again. And that boat kept going, and then it disappeared again. And then, you know, that's the sort of thing. It's not one spot in space.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I can never, with my own eyes, watch a boat disappear bottom first. I always need a camera, so I always wonder how the ancients did it. But
Well, they see
they
the
had-
sails disappear.
they had
That's
tall
the
boats.
main deal. Yeah,
Had
they started
tall
with, they don't have
boats.
little boats like we do. They have tall boats. Yeah. So their sails
Another-
disappear.
Another way you
Oh,
can do it is to calculate what its angular resolution should be, or how far away it should be before its angular resolution becomes so small
How
that you can't.
far do you think the
resolve the whole
horizon
thing.
is from the human eye?
And then if it disappears before that distance, then something else has to be up besides optics.
All right, I got a couple super chats. I'm behind on here. So give me a second here. Jonathan L says, why aren't flat earth believers prepared to prove the flat earth by sailing Earth's oceans with flat earth science? Limited food and water, point to point, if it's so important to humanity. I'd love to see them use. Wouldn't it be funny to chuck Nathan Oakley and his clown troupe on a boat, give him a sextant and a nautical almanac, and say, go. They'd sit around saying the entire time, they'd patting themselves on the back about how smart they are, about how it's impossible, they think, to do navigation, but they'd never actually on the globe, but they'd never actually do it because none of them know how to do navigation on flat Earth.
They couldn't find their latitude. They'd be lost at sea 20 miles from shore.
I know. Chronic Avenger
probably
says, hold on, for $5 says, aperture messes with exposure. So are you adjusting the shutter speed to compensate? So that's a good question for you there. Did you think about that, Ryan? If you have these different cameras, 5 different cameras as you want to have, with different apertures, are you changing the shutter speed so that the exposure doesn't get messed up, or are you changing the ISO so that the exposure doesn't get messed up?
well, I'm going to have to do some experimenting with the cameras that I'm planning on using
Yeah.
and see what sort of results
Yeah.
I'm getting.
You should also use solar filters, otherwise you're seeing glare. That can really mess with it.
Yeah.
I
Oh.
definitely will do that.
Solar petrol. The flat.
So let me
Hold on.
Well,
No,
Hold on,
no,
hold on,
I-
Ryan. Ryan, I remember that what was about a year ago that we were having this discussion. And you haven't done anything with getting any cameras. You haven't done anything with getting any equipment. Is it ever going to happen, my friend?
It's going to happen when it's going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Okay,
We know
and
that.
It's, buddy, I'm a lot older than you are. I have seen the patterns of the world.
Well, you would
There have
think
got to be some changes in your life if anything like this is going to happen.
you would think it would have already been done because, science is always trying to disprove itself. It covers all of its bases, you know.
Ryan,
Nobody cares about
we
this.
do not have to prove or disprove your one thought. That's not how that works.
Hey, well,
We
Judy,
have a deep
let me ask you a question.
and wide breadth of
Do you expect the sun to
experiments.
do you expect the sun to set at the same time in every camera?
I'm not an expert on cameras, so I don't feel that I'm qualified to answer that.
But we actually believe in rockets and space, so we go well beyond having to worry
That's
about that.
That's exactly right. You believe
I
in
don't
it.
know
Very
how my
good.
cell phone works. I don't know exactly how it works. I don't know how my computer exactly works, but I use them and I believe that they are doing what I want them to be doing. I'm not going to become an expert in cell phones just to use a cell phone. Do you know exactly how yours is being used, how yours is working right now?
No.
Okay, but you're using it.
What is the point here, Judy?
That I'm not going to delve into something that I don't feel I need to when I
You're
have
gonna
all this other evidence, all these other experiments, and one question over here. I'm gonna be looking over here.
So you stick with the stick proves it. You'll stake your whole life on the your whole worldview on a stake and prove the shape of the earth. I'd call that a dipstick.
But like I said,
But I don't.
the Eratosthenes alone is one of many.
Mhm.
Not one. Not looking at one. There's many.
I saw a
Many
rocket
Minecraft
take off
stations.
today. I saw a rocket take off today with
Oh, you
the
saw-
camera attached
saw
to
it
the
from the screen?
outside,
Really?
and
I've seen a few rockets take off.
yeah, but I mean, I saw the curvature of the Earth today.
You were in the rocket?
Ryan, you can't
She just
use
said
Right.
Ryan, you
Mike, she
can't
just
use
said
a
she saw the
camera.
curvature of the
No,
earth today.
Ryan, listen, Ryan. You can't use a camera for your experiment if you hand wave refuse to accept cameras from other things.
Yeah.
If you're going to use a camera in yours, then you must absolutely be ready to accept cameras from other places as well. Otherwise, it's just hypocrisy.
Hey, I've been begging the world to petition NASA to get them to do a live stream, one shot, no cuts. The morons getting into the rocket and
Yes,
following
because
it all the way
NASA
up and
cares
getting
about
out
what
the
you
rocket.
think.
They don't care.
But
But
NASA
like I
cares
said,
They don't cater to you, Ryan. They
If-
don't cater to you.
Right.
if you're going to use a camera to do anything for your experiment, you're going to propose that, then you have to be prepared to accept cameras from others without the, oh, well, I need to see from beginning to end, that kind of stuff, because your experiment won't have from beginning to end of everything that somebody might dream up that they might absolutely demand for you to have.
Mm.
Right. So
Okay.
for you to say, I demand that NASA do this my particular way, that's not actually a reasonable request. If you think that the Earth is a certain shape, or if you have some idea for a science experiment, it's on you. And if you don't like the ones that have already been done, then you go right ahead and do it yourself. You can't hand wave dismiss the ones that have already been done, though. If there's a problem with the methodology, absolutely tear them apart. But you've never done that, Ryan. You didn't look at Cavendish and see what's wrong with it. You just don't like it. So you're like, oh, I need it to be done this other way. No, look at what's in that one and find what was wrong with the particular ones. And you never looked very hard, because when I looked for other repeats of the Cavendish experiment, I was flooded with them. I stopped at 18 on my website because there's so many. I could put links to 100 on there. I don't want to put that. It's too many.
Brian, have you been on mctoon.net yet?
Maybe for a second.
Okay, then you have no right to say, but what about until you put some work in. Until you have been on there for longer than a second, try to disprove some of those things. Try to come up with something that will disprove what's there. Until then, you're not getting any followers to your water bear or whatever, because we can smell it a mile away, buddy. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We smell it a mile away.
Okay,
It's
so Judy,
bullshit.
if I get the result that I expect, the sun sets at a different time in every single camera, what will you say?
I will say, I bet you didn't take care of all the different, what do you
Variables.
call it? Thank you. All the variables. Because if you can't set up or disprove a simple experiment first, I'm not going to believe you on the tough ones. I'm not going, because I don't know cameras that well. I know how to push a button on my phone. I am
Judy,
willing to bet there's enough in there that there's a lot of room to mess it up, because I've been reading the chat with people who are experts, who have put in the time, and I respect their devotion to their craft, that they know better than I do in this area.
Okay,
and
but Judy,
therefore, what?
does your explanation for why Jesus appears across the horizon rely solely on Earth obstructing your line of sight to the horizon or to the sun?
Say that one more time.
Does your explanation for why Jesus appears across the horizon?
Did you say Jesus?
Did you say Jesus? Did you say Jesus appears across the horizon just then?
Yes, because it's clearly what that's about.
No, that is not. And
What?
I'm a born again Christian, and
What?
I call bullpucky.
What?
Okay. Well, when my experiment goes the
What?
way I can, then I get to say why
Oh my
Jesus is on
gosh.
the earth.
What? No,
Just shut up and do the experiment.
What?
Jeez.
Ryan, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you guys act like it's so
Jesus.
easy to get 5 cameras and tripods onto a mountain.
No,
You-
I
you
don't
mean-
expect you to.
Why haven't you done it,
believe me,
Ryan?
I
Why
Jesus
haven't
do
you
not
get 5
expect
cameras
you.
up there?
When does
Ryan, I do not expect you to get 5 cameras with tripods. I'm not holding my breath on that one at all. Trust me when I tell you that.
Okay, but when I
am
do,
saying,
when
no,
does
hold on,
when does Jesus?
hold on.
when-
Sorry, middle school teacher coming out. If you want to go in deep, you got to learn how to doggy paddle first. You aren't even dipping your toe in the water yet. Okay? You're dipping your toe into the kiddie pool, but talking about doing a flip dive into the deep end. No, it doesn't. I'm sorry, life does not work that way.
oh, so you don't think the whole world could have been tricked? You don't think that heliocentrism is man eating from the tree of no ledge? You guys claim to know what the ledge is. That's why the word is knowledge. Satan.
No, that's-
Oh God,
No,
And
this-
again,
that's not the
MC
etymology
Toon,
of knowledge.
Type in knowledge to see if it ends up being 666. Everything can add up.
Whoa.
To
You could play
something.
games all day long
Yeah.
with numbers. Hold on.
Yeah. It's all
Let's
Your
Little
name
Dustin
ends
Did,
up being Satan.
did-
Did you know that, Ryan?
Did,
I don't want to send you down a rabbit hole, but your name ends up being Satan.
Didn't Reg Rhetoric use gematria
No,
to
them.
prove that
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, yes, he did, and he talked about it a
Yeah.
couple weeks ago, so we don't have to repeat it.
Okay.
You can do whatever you want with gematria and get whatever result you desire by
Yeah.
playing with numbers. I have
Yeah.
on
You
screen
think
right
so?
now. I have on screen right now. Knowledge equals 666 using your numbers that you did.
And you ready for
No.
this one? I used to work for the federal government.
I just used your name. I got 666, Ryan. Oh no!
And I used to work for the federal
Yeah.
government. I interned in the Senate. I know how it works. We aren't smart enough to keep that big a secret for that long. It just
I
doesn't work.
didn't know Judy is part of the they. Wow.
Wait, so
I know
guys-
I'm a they.
wait, so you guys really, you think all the 666s riddled throughout heliocentrism doesn't mean it's the satanic deception?
Well, flat
Especially
Earth.
It's
since
not.
666 isn't actually
Well,
satanic. Yeah.
Satan would have to exist first for that to happen.
Hold on, I'm
So-
typing. I'm
Listen,
trying.
listen, you
trying-
morons. Just a
I'm
second.
trying flat Earth first. Let me see. Oh no, flat Earth is
Oh,
satanic too.
Satanic too? Oh no.
Satan would have to exist for that to be the case, for one.
Satan exists. You say tangential
Prove.
sight along the sinusoidally
Prove.
curving Earth
Prove
is
it.
causing the horizon.
Prove it. Prove Satan exists. Right
Look at
now.
that.
Prove Satan exists.
Ryan
You
Ca-
are him.
Look, Ryan Casey. Flat Earth is the Antichrist. See that?
Wow, that's good stuff.
I'm
Prove,
using your
prove
method.
Satan exists. Prove Satan exists.
I'm
Do
using
it.
your method.
I am
Do
the
it.
Antichrist. I'll tell you the truth. I am.
So then why should we listen to you? The Antichrist is the father of all lies.
Yeah.
Who says that?
Bible.
The Bible
Most
does.
of religion. Well, at least
Well-
the whole Christianity part.
Yeah. Christianity says
Hello,
the Antichrist is the father of all lies. I mean, that's
Well, for me, the Antichrist is the narcissist, and you have to become the narcissist to become the fool, the Christ.
Oh.
the
no.
fool. The fool.
The
No.
fool.
No. The
Uh
fool.
oh. I tried Ryan's camera experiment. It's also 666. Oh my gosh.
Wow,
Wow.
that's
You're not,
It's
you're not
bad.
gonna get funding for those cameras now, dude.
Bad news for
It's
you.
not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
So
See,
you
but
wait.
Ryan, do you understand? We could come back here next year and be at exactly the same spot with you saying, but what about this? What about this? What about this?
It's all
With you doing
whataboutisms.
absolutely no research on your own, just relying on us to try to ping down those darts that you're flinging at us. When a little bitty dart isn't going to take down all of the experiments, observations, all that we have.
If we want to play whataboutism, what about the mountains of evidence that we already have?
Yeah.
What about it? Why would we ignore any of that?
Because you're fools.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Can I
We're
ask
the
Ryan a
fools
question?
and you're not, and you're special, and
You can't
Got it.
see that you
Thanks.
ate from the tree of
Oh,
knowledge.
it's definitely special.
Right.
That, sir.
And you didn't? Wait a
when
minute. We've all come down the same routes here, buddy.
Yeah, I cut down the tree of knowledge.
No,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
No.
no. Sorry,
No.
buddy. You are not that important in this life, and
More
neither
like-
am I.
More like you
Neither am
built.
I.
More like
Listen.
you were dropped.
Stupid
Oh
branch
no.
and go
More
hit
like
with
you, more like
Got
you
the same
fell down-
answer. Also, Nathan and Austin Love is 666.
More like you tried climbing the tree of knowledge, fell down, hit your head on every branch on the way down.
So apple and upple being, a homonym, that's just a coincidence too.
Yes, all of these coincidences are meaningless.
Yeah,
Just go
it's a
measure the shape
coincidence.
of the earth. That's meaningful.
Can I ask him a question?
All right.
make
We
all
got
coincidence.
somebody. We got who was that? Who said that?
Chronic Avenger.
Chronic Avenger.
All right, so I do know some stuff about cameras, so let's test your knowledge, Ryan. So what happens when you have an overexposed light source when you're taking film? What happens to that light on the camera?
It's completely blown out.
But does
Just
the light over bleed into the nearby sensors on the pixels or nearby
Yeah.
pixels? So when you do your experiment, you're going to use solar filters, correct?
Correct.
So what happens when you adjust aperture? What does that do with the exposure?
It changes the amount of light that's let in. So the bigger the aperture, the more
So-
exposure.
So how do you compensate for that? What two effects? What two things do you have to adjust for?
What two things do you have to adjust for?
Yeah, if you want to keep the
Well-
exposure same level, you have to adjust two things, or one of two things. But there's two methods of doing this. Do you know which ones?
I'm not too concerned with
No,
I
you
just
should be very concerned about this because if you want to make sure you want to have the exposure settings on each one exactly the same.
as long as I
Yeah.
can see the sun in every
No,
single
but you
one
don't
of them.
understand because you got to get to make sure the sun is actually the right size because the sun is very small.
You have
And
to
if
Do a
you
good
complete.
experiment. Yeah.
You
So
have
if you
to.
can, wait,
I
let
thought
me
the solar,
finish.
shouldn't the
go ahead.
solar filter allow for that since it's blocking
No,
99.9% of the light or
But
whatever?
if you all of a sudden open up the exposure, you're going to allow more light into the sensor, so you're going to have more glare. So you got to compensate for it. There's three things that's on the camera that
Conflicting variables.
adjust exposures.
You have
And
to
if you
adjust.
don't,
Yeah, you have to adjust for conflicting variables.
so if you adjust aperture, you have to counteract that adjustment with other things, and you don't know
Yeah.
that.
Well, shutter speed, right? I can
Shutter
allow
speed
more
is one
light
of
in
them.
at a time.
So you slow down the shutter speed when you open up the aperture. So you know that, right?
Hmm.
And you know about ISO?
ISO. Yeah, I was about to mention
Isn't that for
ISO.
film?
Zooming.
though?
No, that's digital
Sorry.
camera.
Sorry.
What is ISO for a digital camera?
Basically, it adjusts the size of the pixels. So
Just okay.
the lower the ISO, the less light it's going to have. So the more clear the picture, the higher the ISO, it allows more light into the pixels, but it also causes more noise distortion. So you have to make sure all of the exposure settings are all exactly the same on each one. Do you know how you can tell that the sun is actually not bleeding into the nearby pixels?
No.
The sun needs to have a very crisp edge to it. So every time I see those flat earthers that shows the pictures, oh, the sun's moving away, look at it, it's fading out. They always cut right before the sun sets because that's when the most atmosphere is blocking the light, and you can actually see the crisp edge of the sun. So you have to make sure that it is the actual size of the sun you're looking at if you're going to be doing this experimentation.
I kind of feel like once I put that solar filter on there,
Just because the solar filter's on
the
there,
sun
you
is-
can raise the ISO so high, you can raise the aperture so wide, and you can make the shutter speed so long that that you can still allow glare.
well, these are things I'll have to practice with before I do the experiment.
This is why I'm telling you the parameters that you need to be understanding on how to work a camera.
I appreciate that. Do you expect the sun to set at the same time in every camera?
I do expect the sun to set at the same time.
And
But
will
you
you?
have to make sure the field of view is going to be exactly the same. You need to make sure that there's no glare. You have to make sure that there's a lot of little variables inside a camera that a lot of people don't understand.
Okay.
And obviously
about?
you didn't because you didn't understand all of it that I just told you.
All right. Well, I'm glad we had this conversation. What do you know about the refraction of light within the aperture?
The refraction of light, it does allow more light to come in at wider angles. But I don't believe that's going to be much of an effect because of the field of view that you're going to keep at it. But so one question I have for you is that you're expecting there's to be a difference in time. How much difference?
I don't know. That's why it's an experiment,
So if
No,
it's
actually, you should be calculating that based on your model. You should have
I
a
have no
prediction for it.
McTuna, I have no idea. I'm measuring something that's happening within the camera. I have no idea what the refraction is going to be inside of the aperture.
so
I'm
Then
hoping
what
it's
will
going to
you
be.
do with the numbers when you get it
Yeah,
then?
you won't even know what to do with it then.
So let's say
Listen.
let's say there's a difference of like 0.05. Would a margin of error, would that be a part of the margin of error?
Yeah, you need to know your margin of error to know if
I'm
your
gonna do
results
the
are
experiment.
statistically.
I'm going to do the experiment. The world can judge it for however you guys want.
Could I recommend that you start with 2 cameras? And then if there is a difference between full open and full closed, then work up to more cameras. You might get people interested in it. It's also easier to get that 2 cameras instead of 5.
Oh yeah, just be careful with the aperture, really shut aperture when you take a picture of the sun, because you can actually cause like ray bands shining outwards. So that's one effect that you have to be cautious about too.
I feel like if I do it with 2 cameras, you guys are going to You guys are not going to care. You're not going to do it yourselves again. But if it's done with 5 cameras and every single one of them shows a different setting time, then you're going to have to do something.
All you need is for 2 of them to be significantly different. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yep.
And then you'll give up.
Absolutely nothing to address them.
But your explanation relies solely on your field of view.
No, it doesn't. Not at
yes.
Are you
all.
kidding me?
Reciprocal
the
zenith
Earth-
angles are completely independent of field of view.
We're talking about sunset. The Earth spins
No,
into your
I'm
line
talking
of
about
sight.
the millions of ways that we know the shape of the Earth, not
Okay.
just sunset.
I'm just trying to understand why my experiment, if I get the result, doesn't disprove the ball immediately.
Because one experiment doesn't disprove centuries of anything. The first
why?
thing that you look at with that experiment is you say, well, what's going on there? Is this an outlier, or did we uncover some new secret information that we didn't know?
Ah, yes. Like the light from below you is obstructing the light from above you because of bending of light in the aperture.
Maybe.
Wow.
Maybe. And so then
Ryan?
people would want to do experiments to find out what's going on there. But probably if you were to do this and find 5 different times and publish that, nobody would say, maybe that's because the Earth is flat. They would go, maybe something about light is weird that we don't understand. Because you did nothing to address the thousands of photographs of the Earth from space. You did nothing to address reciprocal zenith angles. You did nothing to address the measured curvature of the Earth. You did nothing to address the horizon not rising to eye level. You did nothing to address the variation in the magnitude of gravity at different latitudes and elevations. None of that was addressed in your experiment. You need to address all of those things.
And let's not ask the guy who figured it out. Let's just dismiss him and
But
we'll come up with our own explanation.
But
haven't
your
figured
particular
anything out.
experiment would not cause anyone to think any of those things are at odds. The only thing that anyone would think from your experiment coming out with your expected result is, wow, something's different about light than we thought.
But you'd still think this horizon is being caused by your tangential side.
Absolutely. It wouldn't change
And the
one
ball
bit of
is
that.
the
Not
ball's still spinning
one
right into my eye.
bit. Yes.
But-
All right. I
but
got
you
a
needed-
couple things to read.
And if it
So-
happened over and over again, go ahead.
All right. We've got Lord Luminous
Ryan,
Pooh. Hold on. Don't.
I don't believe Ryan fully appreciates the mountain of evidence.
No, he doesn't.
No.
I mean, it is
doesn't. It
compared to
doesn't at
this
all.
one thing you're talking about. The evidence that the Earth is roughly spheroidal is absolutely. I mean, it's Mount Everest worth of evidence versus your one thing.
I don't
Please try
think-
to understand.
No, he doesn't. All right, I gotta read these things here. All right, listen. This is funny. Lord Luminous Pooh says, if Polaris hasn't moved by the time you die, would you be a Glober? No, I'll be dead. Silly kid. Lord Luminous Pooh again says, shouldn't the material component of the spell haste just be a gram of cocaine? Zoomy looking spooky tonight. I that must be an inside joke there. Caucasian Sensation says the only thing flat earthers fear is sphere itself.
Isn't it interesting that fear and feelings are both FE?
No, not
No,
even
no.
slightly.
No, not at all.
Not
at all.
nobody.
Not the least.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks that's a thing.
What about the
Nobody.
A?
Big Thing Flying Wayne says, tell this flirf to get a basketball, put it directly in front of his nose, draw a line with a marker from the spot closest to your eye to the other side.
Because
You're gonna draw
it's
that
flat?
line from your eye to the other side.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it'll curve.
Yes, it will.
Yeah, interesting. All right. And the other side of that line will be obstructed by something, won't it? Lael says, when I go outside and wonder why it's light outside, I look at the sky and see the sun. Amazing.
Interesting.
How does
Your
that
viewers
happen?
are brilliant, man.
I mean, that was a pretty smart one from Lael. RT96 says, I love this. Objects appear bluer as they move away from us. Gary Wybenga. Also, the sun appears red at sunset because it has moved away from us. Also Gary Wybenga.
Why this attachment to language though? Because if you did any of those things in any other different language, you would come up with a completely different result.
Yes.
You know that, right? You know that, right?
You want to bet?
Yes, I would. I'll,
All right,
I'll
what's-
bet you.
What's iron? What's iron in Hebrew?
I don't know.
Yeah, I will bet
It's
you on
not
that.
FE.
It's definitely not FE. No.
What's the word for pound in Spanish?
Said thoi.
Libra. Add it up.
Why does it matter? It's just
It's
he
like
was signing
42.
random things, nonsensical
Completely
things.
random.
All right, Jonathan
random.
L.
Okay, I'm down.
All right, Ryan. Jonathan L. would
Judy,
like you.
what the fuck?
Stupid.
Face
Ru-
palming from all this. Are you kidding me?
Hey, you pick the language. I'll show you what's cool about it.
Hebrew.
Japanese.
Africans.
I don't need your help.
Something that
African.
uses the Roman alphabet.
No,
you gotta
that
be-
no.
I didn't
No.
ask. You
Nope.
can't tell if I didn't ask.
No.
Greek.
No.
You can't do that.
Russian.
Coptic.
I'm gonna have to
Ukrainian.
learn those. I'm gonna have to learn all the fucking languages. then.
Klingon.
Japanese.
Japanese
Klingon.
language, written language.
Klingon's a good one.
Klingon. There we go. Klingon. Klingon.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Klingon.
Also,
Filipino, they
iron.
use it-
Iron in English isn't FE. That's Latin.
Yeah.
Good
it's
good
Latin.
call there. Mute Donkey and a couple others.
Ferris.
Yeah. Ferris. That's why I asked about tin. Tin is not TN. It's SN. All right. So Jonathan L wants to know, why won't you just get on a boat with limited supplies and a sextant and go navigate with the flat Earth?
Yeah.
It's his
Once again, I don't
arbitrary
say
demand
tan.
that you do it. He
I don't
demands
say
that you
tan.
do it.
I don't say tan, so I don't use a sextant.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
He uses a GPS instead.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, whatever. All right. Well, Jonathan L, I don't think he has the wherewithal to answer your question.
Actually, I think Ryan will be using Loran's C and not computer.
Oh, here we
Seeing
go.
as how I've already face palmed a couple times, I'm happy to leave and let someone else up. I don't know if my neck can handle much more of this or my forehead. So I'm happy to let somebody else up.
Maybe when Judy, maybe when the scales fall from your eyes, it won't be so hard on you.
Dare tell me if I have scales over my eyes or not. Don't you
Yeah.
dare.
So you
That's
don't think that
between-
you don't think that has anything to do with weight or the fish story? That story about Paul? Nothing.
Oh my god.
Scales has nothing to do with weight.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't have to do with our explanation for weight. It
Okay.
doesn't have
have
to do
anything
with
to do with
high
weight.
seas.
I
Nothing.
want to. Do you mind
No,
if I explain
Actually,
something
it
real quick?
doesn't. It doesn't.
If the Earth is flat, does it though?
No,
No.
Yeah.
it has nothing to do
Yes,
with
it
weight.
certainly does.
It's mass. Mass and weight's two different things. Do you know the difference?
The explanation for weight is gravity.
No,
Right.
explanation of weight is mass with a force or acceleration. There's weight is a force. So you use a scale to counteract any kind of forces acting on it. You're measuring mass with scales, not weight.
By the way, I just checked, is iron the Antichrist? It is not. Sorry. So
See
You
you
were
back
wrong
in
there.
a year, Ryan.
you were wrong. Safety K says it's no, wait, hold on. Facty says iron is plan in French, and Safety K says it's I missed it. Hold on.
Wait.
Something that wasn't FE starting in his language. I don't know. All right, I got a few more here. David Durinzo says, I'm a professional photographer and filmmaker. I have 5 cameras. I live in Oregon. I'd be willing to help Ryan invalidate his own hypothesis. There you go, Ryan.
Oh, wait, say it again.
David
He lives in Oregon?
Dorinzo, he lives in Oregon. He's a professional photographer and filmmaker and has 5 cameras. And he'd be willing to help out. But he doesn't have, if he's a professional, I'm going to go out on a limb and say he doesn't have a P1000.
Probably not. No, definitely not.
I don't care what camera's used as long as it's the same 5 cameras.
I'm pretty sure he doesn't have 5 of the same cameras either. Photographers tend to get different cameras because they have different purposes.
Why would you have?
Lengths and-
Why would a photographer have 5 identical cameras? Why?
I don't know, Judy. I'm saying for my experiment, I need 5 of the same camera.
Why?
Start with 2.
Why?
I'm wondering why.
It
Yeah.
makes sense to have 2. Start with 2.
Why? Why? Because it's science.
Because
Science
Because you
requires
build upon your
controls.
results. That's why. You
Yeah.
build upon
Yeah,
your
you're
results.
the control is controlling for the different aperture sizes. You don't need to have 5 to have controls.
That's the
You
variable.
need
What the
you
hell
need
are
just
you talking
the
about?
variable is the aperture size. You only need 2 aperture sizes to have a variable aperture size. That's it. Then you could go back the next day and do it again with one of the apertures at half and one at full. And go the
Yeah, why not
day
just
after
call-
that. Do one with the aperture at half, one at all the way down. Right? You could
Yeah.
vary it every single day. You could do it with just 2 cameras.
Yeah, why don't I just go live on Mount Rainier for a while and play with cameras?
Why not?
And nobody said that your experiment was going to be easy or
Like,
convenient.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then, but except you give me shit about it for having not done it in a year, and not a single person has offered any assistance to me.
You know
No,
why? Because nobody cares. It's just
Because
a dumb
you
idea.
think you think the Earth was proven with a stick.
No,
Didn't I not
I
give
already,
you
we
advice?
already covered that.
man.
Why are you lying,
That's
Ryan?
Wow.
That's gross.
That's
You
That is
believe
not
that?
good
and Ryan,
advice?
No, that's gross.
Ryan,
no.
I'm not saying that it's because you don't have 5 cameras and no one's helped you. You haven't even dipped a toe in yet, my friend. You got to
I'm
dip
in-
a toe first.
I'm an NPC, so whenever it happens, it happens.
Okay, then. Yet another reason
All right.
for us
Mr.
apparently not
David-
to listen to you then.
David Dorinzo says he has 5 Blackmagic Cinema cameras.
There we go.
Wait, why would you need the same exact camera for? Wouldn't you?
It
To-
makes
to-
sense for what he's doing. That
Oh,
you'd want to control that by having cameras as similar as possible.
Yeah, true.
But
true,
the
true.
biggest thing, and you could do your entry level with 2 cameras, one completely different cameras, one with a tiny aperture and one with a huge aperture.
Yeah.
I would
So we-
say find whatever camera you can that has a tiny aperture, like a phone, and whatever camera you can that has a giant aperture, like something with just a cheap, low f-stop number camera lens. Have
Like a Nikon plane, like a Nikon T900.
I have right here. This is from my Pentax that got stolen. This is an
So-
old manual lens. There's nothing automatic in it. You can actually change. I loved looking at this.
What
Yeah.
millimeter lens are you going to be using to film this sunset?
I haven't decided yet.
Are you going to be zoomed in? Are you going to be zoomed out? Or
I would think zoomed in.
and so you're looking for something that's 3 point, like say 100, about 100 to 150 millimeters.
Yeah, I would think so.
So you're going to be probably going to be about maybe a 5 aperture to what, like 20?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the highest. Just because if it's
Yeah,
too small, it's not gonna be able to let in any light.
Well, you got to realize the higher the number, the smaller it is.
Right.
So 5 is, you got to realize with most zoom, unless you're going to be spending thousands of dollars, this aperture gets hella small. It's like 5 versus it gets significantly bigger, like 5 to say a 1.4.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna use the one. Does it start at 1.4 or 1? I can't remember.
Lowest I've used is a
Point.
1.4,
0.8 is the smallest
0.8.
that I've seen.
And you got to realize if you're going to be using anything like 2,
You wouldn't want that for the
Two-
sun.
Or 3, you'll probably burn out your camera because if you point, you got to realize you're magnifying that light. So you got to be careful with that too. But you also got to realize the lens also matters because as you zoom out or you zoom in, that aperture shrinks. So
Right.
you can, so if you're gonna have a two aperture, 2 f-stop with a say 150, that's gonna be pretty expensive.
Oh, I have no doubt. It's not going to be cheap.
Do you
I'm
know how
probably
much
gonna
I'm talking about though? I'm
You'll
talking
be
about
wasting your
thousands.
You can rent. You can rent them.
Yeah.
Right?
You'll be wasting good money on a stupid experiment.
That's why you want to do proof of concept first.
A fool and his money are soon parted.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see, won't we?
And how are
No,
you
we
gonna
won't.
sync
You're
the
never going to
videos?
do it.
No, we won't. You're never going to do it.
And how
Yeah,
do you
okay.
plan to sync the videos?
I'm going to clap.
It
I
depends
can
on your
accept
margin of error that you need, of
Okay.
course. Right? Because if your margin of error is within a half a second, a clap would be fine, I suppose. Right? And,
Well, listen,
Oh, snap.
we're going to, have the 5 cameras. They're all going to have the same time, what do you call it, on them? And I'll turn them all on. I'll clap. And I'll even film the 5 cameras so you can watch each sunset at a different time in each camera.
Oh, so you're gonna have 6. Okay.
Do you guys admit? Will you guys admit that this experiment is valid?
Not really.
Not the parameters that you set
really
up.
not.
No.
I would say it's a valid experiment because well, I don't know what you're trying to falsify, so that'd be maybe a different.
I'm trying to falsify your explanation for sunset.
But
Yeah.
the camera lens will be more of an effect on the light than anything.
And you
So-
don't know what
But-
your variable, you don't know what to do with your numbers. Whatever numbers or whatever information, I'm not even sure if it's numbers that you're going to get. I'm not sure what you are intending
He
to
has
collect.
no idea how to
Plan to
do the
get.
analysis. He doesn't even
Yeah.
know what he's really doing here. That's the problem.
Yeah.
All right, I have another one coming up with Vicky Falcon. So I need to wrap this up. I got a couple things to a couple super chats to ask, and I think they're for Ryan, so we're gonna have to focus here. Pat in the chat says, "Newsflash: NASA doesn't give a hot steamy pile of fecal matter about appeasing flirfs." FFS.
Good one.
They don't care because they're putting things in space. Cry hot tears of failure.
Help us.
That none of us can verify. Excellent. Good. Next point.
You can. You just
You
reject it.
can. There's actually probes. There's stuff on the moon, reflectors on the moon that you can bounce lasers off of.
You can't
You
do
can
that
actually
yourself. Hold on. You can't do that
Sorry.
yourself. And not
Well,
do
you
that
can't do
yourself.
it yourself. Yeah. But
Wait, excuse me. How does bouncing something off the moon verify what NASA does?
Because NASA put them there.
Put them there.
Well, you can actually see satellites on a clear night if you're like in the desert or something. I've done it myself.
Yeah, I watched Starlink satellites fly over my head in LA.
There you go. Okay, you
There you
you
go.
verified it. All right. Lael says the camera argument is stupid because everyone on Earth at a specific latitude and longitude to see the sunrise and sunset at the exact same time down to the millisecond.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
No, we won't. You're never going to do it. We know that. You've been talking about this for years, and you've made zero progress because not even the flat earthers care. They think it's just as silly as we do.
Right.
And they're the ones with the world's supply of P900s and P1000s. Pat in the chat says we can't keep Samba, I'm not going to say it, in the White House a secret for... Oh, yeah, okay. We can't keep fellatio in the White House a secret for crying out loud.
Oh, fellatio, F-E.
Yeah. Oh, it's Effie, but what is it in Hebrew and Greek? It's not. Ian
Topic.
Dust
It's not. Yeah.
says 666 is not the number of the beast. That's the fax number. And no one uses fax no more. That's why no one has seen him in ages.
Mm. Okay.
And the final one from Chris Hoffman says, wants to know, are you planning on using time code sync on those multiple cameras? Because that's going to be a necessity. But again, it might not. I'll say it depends on the margin of error that you're willing to accept. What if you measure a difference of 1/2 of a second, but you did nothing to account for the error? Then what?
What error?
The
What error
margin
are we
of
talking?
there's any number of causes of error that you could have in there, and if you haven't accounted for them reasonably, then you can't be reasonably expect to have a 5-second tightness in that, right? So
I don't
different-
understand though, because your guys' explanation relies totally on the Earth getting in your way. So it's going to
Yes.
happen at the Earth is going to get in your way at the exact same time in every camera. So if it happens
not
differently,
but not if you don't have them in sync with each other. Like if you just use the clock on there and you set them to the same minute, you could be 60 seconds off. If you clap and then let it run for an hour, well, does each of those cameras' internal clock, are they accurate within an hour? Or an hour later, is there a discrepancy of 2 seconds from one end to the other? That we don't know if you don't do any analysis on it. Maybe you clap just before the sunset or just after the sunset so that you can eliminate that. So you need to control for those variables.
excellent. I will.
So Stringer News 1 says Titicaca. Such a child. And King Ed V is wondering, why is there a hard radar horizon?
I didn't hear that. Say it again.
Why is there a hard radar horizon?
A hard radar horizon?
Yeah. Why can radar only see so far?
Because waves don't travel forever.
Oh, but they do see it from 100 miles
It's-
at elevation, but they can't see something below a certain elevation at
They
that 100 miles.
Do
Why?
trouble forever though.
Well, the atmosphere is a bit thicker down low and is going to absorb more energy.
Okay, well, I'd love to see the model. Why is it so hard? If it's atmosphere, it's not going to be hard either. Anyway, Cowtrophius
It was hard.
for 15 shekels says Brian talks and talks. That's Ryan. Ryan talks and talks about experiments, but he will do nothing. And I have no doubt, Ryan, that you won't do anything.
And if when I do, are you gonna?
And if when I do,
Whatever.
did you catch that?
I'll say it
He said,
again.
"And
You've asked
if
me
when."
multiple times over the last couple years. If your experiment comes out with the result that you think it will, my answer will be, wow, maybe there's something about light that we don't understand.
Well, I would really love to figure out what you think that is before I do it. I really would.
I don't know. It would require further experimentation, but it would not address, like I said, any of the things.
Why? Why would it require further experimentation? You're just going to get the same results. It's just going to keep happening and happening and happening.
Because it doesn't address the thousands of pictures of the Earth from space.
Oh, thousands of pictures of the Earth.
It does nothing to them. It does nothing to address the measurements of the shape of the Earth that I personally did, that don't rely on the horizon.
You didn't measure anything.
So you say, but you can't address my methodology and point out where it's wrong. You won't address my methodology. And that video might be coming out on Friday. I hope so. Script is done. King Ed V says for $2, I wish I could give him a crash course on radar. King Ed V, let's do this. Let's have you come on, and maybe if you want to, you could have somebody else, a couple other people have done radar stuff and you could do a presentation on that. I would love to have the president, no flurfs allowed, just you come in and do a presentation on radar and how we know the shape of the Earth from radar. How about that?
I'm sure a lot of people gave Marconi a crash course on that shit too, and then he proved them all wrong. So
What on earth?
Yeah, I don't think you understand what happened there. Anyway, Ryan, thank you for coming on. Thank you.
I think I do know what happened.
No, you
Y'all
haven't.
filtered. You
No.
filtered what happened.
Can I ask
through
one
the
question real quick?
ball.
Yeah.
So what would happen if the sun set at the exact same time in the all the cameras?
What would you do then? Yeah.
I would say, well, it doesn't falsify anything then. Then I would probably try to get my ass down to Antarctica and see if I can see the sun for 24 hours straight.
So
'Cause I
it
can't
will
think-
require more experimentation.
Say again?
I said, so it will require more experimentation.
I can't think of any other experiment to actually test any of your guys' claims other than the 24-hour sun.
You just said one now. You said you would have to go down to Antarctica and try it
Yeah, that
again.
would-
or something.
That wouldn't really be an experiment. It's a simple observation. Does the sun stay up in the sky for 24 hours?
Well, that's the first step in the scientific method, though.
No, it's a perfectly falsifiable experiment. There's no necessary run through these steps. Does the sun set? That's falsifiable. Yes, no. If it does, on when you're far enough south, then there's something wrong. You falsified it. That's all you need.
All right.
It's a great experiment.
I agree.
All right, I got two more. Ableist says he laughs at pics from space, but the ISS has a 24/7 live stream from space. Not quite 24/7, but yeah, you can watch the Earth from space to your heart's content, Ryan. And then King Ed the Fifth comes back, says it's radio, not radar. So okay, sorry. Contact me, King Ed, somewhere, Discord or email or Facebook, and I'd love to see about that.
Michael, the guy in Oregon, can you give me his information? Or
David Durenzio. So David, are you on Facebook? Could you contact me also somewhere, and I'll get you in contact with Ryan and see if something can happen there. How about that?
That's awesome.
All right, I have another show. I've got a flat earther that says that has models and a whole diagram and presentation on PowerPoint of how everything works, apparently. So,
Oh, wow.
that's going to be amazing. That's coming up in just a second here. I'm going to run the stuff here. The oh my gosh. The outro. I'm going to go Riley in the bathroom, and then we're going to start that up in just a couple minutes. So thank you, everybody, for stopping by. Thanks, Ryan, and the panel that called in. We'll see you in a couple minutes.
Yeah. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks.